Hello, second graders, and welcome to our last math lesson of the year. Today's math lesson is going to be lesson 11.6, which is called Sort Two-Dimensional Shapes. So we are going to be answering and asking the essential question, how do you use the number of sides and angles to sort two-dimensional shapes? So this whole week we've kind of been learning about things like edges and vertices and faces in a three-dimensional object. And then we also learned about sides and vertices and angles in two-dimensional shapes. So today, again, we're going to be taking that information that we've learned about sides and angles, and we're going to use it to sort two-dimensional shapes. So let's see how we are going to do that in the video.
Hi, friends. Bailey and I love to hang out by the river and watch the sailboats float by. We notice something new every time. Today we noticed that the parts of each boat look like different shapes. Click the boat to take a closer look.
All right, so let's click on the boat.
These shapes look like the different parts of a boat. I think the triangle looks like the sail. Don't you?
I do.
Earlier, Bailey and I overheard some kids playing a sorting game with shapes. One of the kids gave a clue, and the others guessed the shape that matched the clue. The last clue was, this shape has fewer than 4 angles. Bailey and I couldn't hear the answer. I wonder what it was. I think we need to learn about sorting shapes to figure it out. Come on, let's learn how to sort two-dimensional.
I think what he was trying to say there was let's learn how to sort two-dimensional shapes. So let's go ahead and figure that out.
This shape is called a hexagon. Can you find a single color shape that we can use to cover the hexagon? Here it is. We can use this yellow shape to cover the hexagon. It has the same size and shape as the hexagon. Let's find 2 shapes we can use to cover this hexagon.
So before we do that, I just want to remind you that a hexagon, right, is a shape with 6 sides. Hex means 6, so we're looking for shapes that have 6 sides. So we found one full hexagon, but now we're going to be taking some of these shapes over here, and we're going to be putting them into the hexagon to make a different type of hexagon. So let's see how we can do that.
We can use this shape to cover part of the hexagon. We can use this shape to cover the other part of the hexagon. When we put the 2 shapes together, they're the same size and shape as the hexagon. Now let's find 4 shapes we can use to cover this hexagon.
Okay.
This blue shape covers part of the hexagon. This blue shape covers part of the hexagon too. Let's use this green shape to cover another part of the hexagon. And also this green shape. When we put the blue shapes and the green shapes together, they are the same size and shape as the hexagon.
So this might be something that looks very familiar to you. If you remember back at the very first math lesson that we did during distance learning, we talked a lot about partitioning shapes, right? So this is kind of very similar to that. And you might also be remembering that when we started distance learning, our first math lesson was like 11.7 all the way to like 11.11. And so now we're doing the first part of chapter 11. So they kind of tie in with each other. So if you were noticing that this looks very similar to the very beginning of the distance learning that we've been doing, then you would be correct, because that's exactly what we did. So it's almost like partitioning shapes into other objects.
You can group shapes according to a rule. This rule is shapes with more than 4 sides. Select the shapes that match the rule.
Okay, so shapes with more than 4 sides. So we're looking at some shapes that are going to have not 4 sides, but more than 4. So we know that a triangle only has 3, which is less than 4. So that wouldn't work. We're looking at this quadrilateral, and we know that it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one wouldn't work either. We also have a rectangle, and if you remember, a rectangle is a special type of quadrilateral. So we know that a rectangle also has 4 sides. So that would not work either. We're also looking at another triangle here, and the one thing that we know about triangles is that it has 3 sides, so that would not work. Let's take a look at this one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This shape has 6 sides, so it's a hexagon. So 6 is more than 4. So this one would fit the rule of shapes with more than 4 sides. So we're going to click that one, and then we're going to check our answer.
Good job! The hexagon is the only shape with more than 4 sides. Here's another rule about shapes. Shapes with fewer than 4 angles.
Okay.
Select the shapes that match the rule.
So shapes with fewer than 4 angles. All right, so now we can count the angles of each shape. So over here, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a pentagon. And so it has 5 angles, so that's not fewer than 4, so we're not going to include that one. We see another hexagon, and we learned from the last example that hexagons have 6 sides, so therefore they also have to have 6 angles, right? So therefore this hexagon would also not fit in the category of shapes with fewer than 4 angles. Okay, let's take a look at this triangle here. So triangles, remember, we have 3 sides, and then there should also be 3 angles. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 is definitely fewer than 4. So the triangle here would fit in this category. The other triangle over here would also fit in this category because it also has 3 sides and 3 angles. Now let's take a look at this last shape here, the square. Remember, squares have 4 equal sides. So if they have 4 sides, they're going to also have 4 angles. Exactly. So it would not fit in the shapes with fewer than 4 angles. Okay, so the 2 triangles are going to fit in this category right here.
Good job! The triangles have fewer than 4 angles. Now let's practice with the personal math trainer.
Okay. Okay, so number 1 says, which shapes have fewer than 5 angles? Select all that apply. So remember, there's been a couple of problems on our math homework that have told us to select all that apply. That means that there's more than one answer. So really you got to look through each option to see if it applies to what they're asking you to find. So again, in this case, they're asking us to find which shapes have fewer than 5 angles. So option A is a rectangle. And again, we know that a rectangle is a quadrilateral, which has 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices. So 4 is less than 5. So this rectangle would fit in the category. Let's take a look at a triangle. So a triangle, again, 3 sides, 3 angles, 3 vertices. 3 is less than 5. So the triangle would work. Now let's count this shape over here. Let's count all the angles that we see in this shape. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a funny looking hexagon. And a hexagon, again, has 6 sides, 6 angles, 6 vertices. 6 is more than 5. So this hexagon would not be included in the fewer than 5 angles category. This is also a hexagon, so it's also going to have 6 sides, 6 angles, and 6 vertices. So we're not going to include that one in the category of fewer than 5 angles either. And then let's take a look at this last one over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. So 4 angles is less or fewer than 5 angles. So this one would also fit into this category. And those are all the ones that would be fewer than 5 angles.
You did it!
Right. And so then number 2 says, which shapes have fewer than 5 angles. Select all that apply. So we're going to be looking for the same amount again. So let's just start by counting some angles in option A. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 angles is less than 5 angles, so A would work. Let's check B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one has 5 angles exactly. So when it has 5 angles exactly, that means that it is not fewer than 5 angles. So B would not fit into this category. Let's try C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So C also has exactly 5 angles. So therefore, we cannot say that this shape has fewer than 5 angles. So we're just going to leave it out. And then lastly, D is a triangle, and we know that triangles have 1, 2, 3 angles in them. So 3 is less than 5, so this triangle will also fit in that category.
Awesome!
Okay?
Now try your homework on your own with the personal math trainer. It includes the exercise you saw at the beginning of the lesson.
Okay, my friends, so you can now sign on to Think Central and complete the lesson for, the assignment for lesson 11.6 and answer those questions. And then we are going to be all done with math for the school year. So great job. Once you hit that turn in button on Think Central to hand in your math homework, give yourselves 2 pats on the back for doing such a great job, not just on this lesson, not just for the lessons that we did this week, but for all of the hard work that you have done on our math assignments during our distance learning. So great job. Go ahead and log into Think Central and complete 11.6, and then we will be all done with math for the school year. Good job, everybody. Bye.